the examples we've seen. Him suing Showtime for $300 million, him foreclosing on multiple properties, him losing on investments on multiple properties, him buying a lot of depreciating assets, and him all of a sudden looking to box very much in the year 2026. Floyd losing money Mayweather, as the chatter says, is in dire straits financially.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things
right.
the audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Some people will say, you know, he's suing now because of his gambling habits, which was not hidden. It was not a secret. He would post, not Teddy Atlas talking about anything that wasn't out there. He would post some of his tickets, his betting tickets that he bet, and they were large bets. And so some people say, oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever.
There was a time when Floyd Mayweather stood at the very top, known not just for his undefeated record, but for his massive fortune. But now, that image is starting to crack. The same boxing icon who once symbolized wealth and dominance is suddenly facing a dramatic downturn. Fans across the boxing community are reacting with a mix of disappointment and frustration as legal issues begin to tighten around him. And as if things weren't already spiraling, a new storm could be on the horizon. Manny Pacquiao may be preparing to take legal action over Mayweather's recent remarks about their historic clash.
Oh joy, we are not one of these sick people, and I call them sick, I'm not afraid to say what I feel, that's sitting in their underwear in grandmother's basement or wherever the freak they are, taking pot shot at people because of their misery, because of their misfortune, because they're in a bad place. Shame on you. And shame on the people out there. I know that there's some of them, everyone knows I don't really read that internet unless somebody shows me specifically some stuff. And I saw some of the stuff. I didn't want to see any more, so I told them, don't show me anymore. But I saw enough to see what was out there. People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great.
New reports are beginning to paint a very different picture of Floyd Mayweather's financial empire. While he's long been seen as one of the wealthiest figures in sports, insiders now suggest that much of that fortune may not be as solid as it appears. Behind the scenes, there are claims of liens, mounting debt, property pressures, and assets tied up in complex financing deals, including his luxury jet, which has reportedly drawn attention from creditors over unpaid fuel bills. At the same time, controversy is building around his ongoing feud with Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather recently stirred debate by downplaying their bout as nothing more than an exhibition. However, reports indicate he had already accepted payment tied to it being an official professional fight. That contradiction could land him in serious legal trouble, with potential claims of contract violations now entering the spotlight.
Had to say the fight weekend of Fundora and Thurman. Apparently he did an interview, said that it was an exhibition, that these guys didn't have anything to prove, that their legends were already set in stone, and that it would be an exhibition. He wasn't sure if it was going to be at the Sphere. Apparently, that is not true. According to a Boxing Scene article that interviewed Jazz Mathur, the CEO of Manny Pacquiao Promotions, said that, yes, the fight is contracted for the Sphere, booked at the Sphere, scheduled at the Sphere for September 19th. It is booked as a professional fight, not as an exhibition. It was never booked as an exhibition, which makes sense because Netflix got behind it, and I would assume that they would not want an exhibition. We said the other day, I think it was actually yesterday, we said that this fight has to be a real fight and not an exhibition because, one, Netflix is involved, two, Manny Pacquiao wants that get back, and two, also just betting lines. It's a huge aspect of this sport and this kind of...
The controversy around Floyd Mayweather is heating up fast. On X, Mike Carpenter highlighted that Mayweather's statements contradict Netflix's official promotion, warning that calling the bout an exhibition could put him in breach of contract. Meanwhile, Wade Plumman claimed that after accepting advance payments for a professional fight, changing the narrative now raises serious concerns. He suggested it could be seen as misleading both Manny Pacquiao's team and the platform involved. Critics have also brought up his past exhibition with Logan Paul, pointing to similar controversies. With pressure building, questions are growing over whether this is strategy or something more troubling.
Something is off. Something's completely off because you got one person saying, this is a real fight. You got the promotion saying, this is a real fight. You got Floyd Mayweather saying, no, this is an exhibition. There's two things that are happening here. Either somebody messed up in paperwork or in communication or in some form of getting this fight together, misspoke to one of these guys, or Floyd Mayweather is trying to scam Netflix. That is the only two things that can be possible here. Because we then get the report, as of yesterday, Floyd Mayweather has already taken a cash advance payment of his purse for the upcoming Manny Pacquiao rematch on Netflix, despite it currently being in jeopardy. I don't even know how that's possible. Who gave him a cash advance before they even got to the fight? I understand like paying some up front to secure the fight, but paying everything? Maybe it's not what it is. Maybe the cash advance is like...
Teddy Atlas called the situation deeply unfortunate, pointing out that many fighters struggle when they don't have the right guidance managing their money, and in his view, that's exactly what's happening with Floyd Mayweather.
Fighters, they risk everything. They risk so much, and then everything they took the risk for sometimes is lost. Whether it was Joe Louis, whether whoever, it never becomes not sad or unfortunate to hear. Never. It's look, you could say it's their responsibility. It is. It is. You got to know what's going on, but there are also sharks in this business, in any business. And sometimes these athletes, I wouldn't even specify fighters. We're talking about fighters. But you hear it in football, Bud. You were around it. You hear it in basketball. Sometimes these athletes, they don't have the right people around them to look out for them, to properly educate them, to properly advise them. Hey, some don't live.
Jonah Renitz, a controversial businessman closely linked to Floyd Mayweather, has often been described as a key player behind Mayweather's ventures after boxing, especially in real estate. But now, both names are being pulled deeper into growing legal tension. According to discussions on X, Manny Pacquiao's camp is reportedly considering legal action over the high-profile fight tied to Netflix. And that's not the only pressure building. There are also fresh concerns surrounding Renitz, who was previously expected to face serious legal consequences before a sudden twist changed the situation. At the center of it all is a major disagreement. Pacquiao is standing firm, insisting the bout must be a fully sanctioned professional fight. With contracts already signed, he's making it clear he has no intention of stepping into the ring for an exhibition, raising the stakes even higher for Mayweather.
Exhibition and not a real fight. Is that what he's feeling? But he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure.
Yes, the contract that we signed is a real fight.
Real fight. Okay. Yeah, because I know he said
I want to fight an exhibition.
No exhibition. It's either real fight or nothing.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Yeah.
Is Fear still in Las Vegas?
That's the contract that he signed. I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so it's still happening then.
He has to remember.
Joe Rogan pointed out that Floyd Mayweather dominated boxing for over a decade, becoming one of the sport's biggest stars in the U.S. His 2015 victory over Manny Pacquiao, then the richest fight ever, highlighted his elite defense, lightning speed, and the money persona that built both his legacy and fortune.
Shifted from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather. Changed the whole thing.
He knew what he was doing.
He definitely did. It would have been an interesting fight had he fought Pacquiao when he was younger in his prime. It would have been a very different.
Would have been
fight.
A more interesting fight.
Much more different.
Because
much more difficult
any
fight.
go forward physical warrior like Pacquiao is going to wear down.
Right. Exactly.
And any brilliant counterpuncher like Floyd is going to retain more.
Yeah.
So he did.
Yeah, it would have been much more interesting when they were younger. Also, the fact that Pacquiao fought him with a bum shoulder. That was a disaster, too.
Money talks.
Yeah. I mean, look, I guess he was faced with this thing, legacy, or, I mean, it was the biggest pay-per-view of all time in boxing, correct?
I believe so.
I believe so. And I think it was like 4 million buys or something crazy like that.
It was huge.
So, like, what is
that? It was
that?
massive.
For years, Floyd Mayweather built an image of limitless wealth-flashing luxury watches, exotic cars, and casually writing checks worth millions as if it were nothing. He carried himself like someone beyond financial worry, proudly displaying a lifestyle few could even imagine. But now, that image is being challenged. Mayweather has taken legal action against Showtime and its former president, Steven Espinosa, claiming he's owed a staggering $340 million. The lawsuit exposes a sharp contrast between the unstoppable money persona he projected and the complicated financial battles happening behind closed doors, proving that even the biggest names aren't immune when business, contracts, and massive sums collide.
I talk about it, 18 mil retired. I know some people gonna be like, well, you didn't. You said I didn't want to say I was active because that's normal. Right. I said I wasn't activated. I knew what I said. So a lot of times I'm like, oh, you didn't say it right. I know I said it right. I know what I said. You know, I know what I posted.
I don't really care how much you make, bro. I feel like writing an $18 million check has to feel some sort of way.
That's crazy.
I didn't want to do it. Of course, I'm like, who wants to give up basically 20 million?
You wrote 18,180,000,000.00. Like, bro, that's crazy.
You know, I got huge deals on the table, so I'm always making shake.
What's the biggest thing you got working right now?
I can show y'all this. Come here. So come here. So
Dude, what is it?
Let me keep this alone, okay? So right here.
That's crazy.
I just keep stuff on the low.
Yeah, my math don't work like that. My math.
So now, when we gonna cut it again?
50 Cent once explained that much of the backlash toward Floyd Mayweather comes from his obsession with money-driven fights and his habit of constantly flaunting wealth. Over time, many fans have rooted against him, hoping to see him lose. But Mayweather flipped that negativity into a powerful tool. The criticism only made his fights bigger, boosting pay-per-view numbers and generating enormous revenue. By embracing both the love and the hate, he turned public opinion, good or bad, into profit, cementing himself as one of boxing's most successful and polarizing figures.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't.
Max Kellerman explained that many elite fighters who overspend during their peak years and fail to invest wisely can face serious financial pressure once their earning power slows down. He noted that even athletes who make enormous fortunes are not guaranteed long-term stability if their money habits are careless. He pointed out that without planning for the future, spending heavily in the present can create major problems later in life. Using Floyd Mayweather as an example, Kellerman highlighted how financial missteps can eventually lead to legal battles, mounting obligations, and even pressure to return to competition. His message was clear: no matter how big the payday, smart financial management is what truly protects an athlete's future.
Floyd, with the 3 fights that's coming up, Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, I think the guy's from Greece or something like that. What do you feel about great champions doing these kind of fights as well, or just these kind of fights that's going on?
They need money.
Damn.
Yeah, when you need money. This is the problem with boxing. You think about financial literacy, right? And you talk about like NFL players or NBA players. There's support systems for those dudes. There's nothing like that for fighters. They got to figure it out all themselves. And if you're a fighter, that means you did not have options.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like basketball or football. If you could, like, by the way, football players couldn't play basketball, or they play basketball. It's a better deal, right? That's if you can, you do. And boxers couldn't do either one of those things, right? They're too small, or they got hurt, whatever it is. And so you're dealing with a section of our.
Max Kellerman criticized the way wealth is often handled by top athletes, pointing to excessive lifestyles built on luxury cars, expensive watches, and high-stakes gambling. He argued that constantly displaying money without a long-term strategy can eventually lead to serious financial instability. He added that many professional fighters face the same downfall, retiring after earning millions but ending up with far less than expected. Using Floyd Mayweather as an example, Kellerman warned that non-stop spending and ignoring smart investments can slowly erode even massive fortunes. His overall message was that without discipline and planning, even legendary careers can end with financial struggles instead of lasting security.
For that, there's no support or kind of structure in place to help them at all. And so what usually happens with almost every fighter who ever lived, not everyone, but most of them, is they wind up going broke at a certain point, right? First of all, taxes, child support, all that kind of stuff, that promoters, this and that, and then just the way you spend your money. Could be bad investments. You could try to do the right thing and wind up with bad investments. You could just spend too much. And the thing is, if you're not the best in the world anymore, but you're one of, let's say, the 50 best in the world at what you do in your weight class, still hard to tell that dude, you can make $100 million. No, don't do that because you're old.
Right.
Why would he not?
Floyd Mayweather is once again at the center of controversy after reports surfaced that he has already received a cash advance for a potential rematch with Manny Pacquiao linked to Netflix, even though the fight itself is still not fully confirmed. According to Wade Plemons, while small advance payments are common in boxing deals, receiving large upfront sums before final confirmation is highly unusual. He also claims both ESPN and journalist Mike Coppinger have acknowledged the existence of such an advance. Plemons argues this isn't a one-off situation, suggesting Mayweather has a history of pushing for heavy upfront payments and creating pressure around promotions. He referenced previous exhibition events involving Deji and Logan Paul as examples where financial demands and negotiations reportedly played a major role. Now tensions are rising again, as Pacquiao's camp reportedly insists multiple contracts for a professional bout have already been signed and paid. With additional advances allegedly involved, critics warn the situation could escalate into serious legal disputes if the fight doesn't proceed exactly as agreed.
And this is via ESPN. This is not, random Twitter person reporting this. I think Mike Coppinger also reported the same thing. If this is to be believed, Floyd took a cash advance and then undermined the promotion of his own fight to try to protect his 50-0 record and still make a bag. Floyd has done this for years. He has done this for years, especially after his pro career. When he was doing these exhibitions, he would not show up to things he was obligated to do, take advances. Even the Deji fight, you can ask Deji, I was there. Floyd demanded that they pay him some insane amount of money or he wasn't going to fight Deji while he was at the venue. And they wanted to change gloves and do all this stuff. And I think they actually did it. They paid Floyd to do it. And I've seen this with a bunch of his exhibitions. And obviously we know about the Logan Paul situation, how Floyd shopped his fight to a different company after essentially scamming royalty like Prince, whoever in Dubai.
Jason Whitlock has pointed to growing online speculation surrounding the finances of Floyd Mayweather, including rumors of bankruptcy, property auctions, and financial strain that some believe explain his return to high-profile fights, including talk of a bout involving Mike Tyson. Whitlock argues that during his years in Las Vegas, Mayweather maintained an extremely flashy lifestyle, spending heavily while also trying to stay connected with fans by showcasing both luxury and relatability. In his view, this constant focus on image and status may have come at the cost of smarter financial planning. He criticizes what he calls a live-for-the-moment mindset, suggesting that prioritizing attention and reputation over long-term stability can eventually lead to consequences. Now, with Mayweather stepping back toward the ring in his late 40s, Whitlock frames it as a sign of how even legendary success can be undermined by excessive spending and poor money management over time.
Across social media, there are rumors and stories coming out about Floyd Mayweather, him auctioning off in bankruptcy, him up money, and that's why he's going to fight Mike Tyson. Saw this incredible tweet. I listed all the things Floyd Mayweather wasted money on while living in Las Vegas and just living a culture. That's what Floyd Mayweather is an example of. The stupidity of living for the culture and trying to be relatable and trying to be this incredible icon or example of, look how much money I've made. He's blown it all. And now at 49 years old, he's got to go back into the boxing ring and continue to fight because he's in a lot of debt.
Paulie Malignaggi believes the controversy around Floyd Mayweather's recent comments could actually work in favor of the upcoming fight. In his view, the more Mayweather speaks boldly and stirs debate, the more attention the event receives. He suggests that the confusion over whether the bout is an exhibition or a professional fight may not be accidental at all. Instead, it could be a calculated way to generate buzz, keep fans arguing online, and drive massive interest in the event. According to this perspective, every controversial statement becomes free promotion. The outrage, the discussions, and the constant speculation all feed into one thing: higher viewership and bigger revenue, turning controversy itself into a marketing weapon.
Ultimately, Mayweather has to agree to whatever the contract is. If it's a fight, I think one of the comments the other day really made a point that, one of the comments in our chat made a point that, has really stuck with me. Mayweather has to know the terms he agreed to. Come on, I mean, you can't just sign something and not know those terms. He's got to know that if it is, in fact, it has to be a fight, then he would do this. And he knows he's got to go through with a fight. He may just be saying this just to sell the fight in general, just to sell it as, make it a talking point, make it a controversial point, so that people want to wind up, talking about it more. It becomes a topic of discussion. And then from that perspective, people, end up watching, more people end up watching it because it becomes more of a polarizing topic of conversation. So I don't know. I see this eventually getting straightened out. I think it has to. I mean, Floyd has to fight right now. I think Mayweather probably wants to fight right now. Mayweather wants to fight and probably has to fight right now. And Pacquiao seems to want to and have to as well.
And that's a wrap for today's video. Make sure you stay tuned for more updates coming soon.